What's going on, everyone? Vampyr Gaming here, and once again, we just had the Emu live stream reveal, and everybody was like, our ban list coming then, when our ban list, when is ban list? Well, to be at the end of the day, we don't know. We don't know. We know it's August. We know it's this month. It's heavily speculated to be this weekend. And so we're going to talk last minute ban predictions and what I think we can expect. But again, there is no confirmed date. But historically, the One Piece card game has aligned it with other events to release it. So before we had like a Bandai card show and they released the ban list, and then we've had it at the World Finals where they revealed the ban list, and here we have the area finals. They like to do it at bigger, larger events to maximize the eyes and all this fun stuff. But we don't know the day. But we do have an idea of what they're going to do. And there's a lot of interesting things. So today, August 14th, we've had a lot of different reveals today. And we'll kind of mention those because it kind of shapes it. So we have, of course, the Emu reveals, which kind of give us a crazy idea of what we can expect too. Because why would we ban things when OP13 is the power creep set? 100%. Anyone who disagrees, you're allowed to disagree. Your feelings are valid. Just know that I disagree. Incredibly power crept set, and OP14 I can imagine is just going to do the same thing, and we're going to be buying decks every format, just like Digimon. I imagine that's the path we're going to take based off of these reveals. But let's talk bans, right? And real quick before we do that, if you could just do me a favor, check and see if you're subscribed. We're on the road to 10,000. I can hit that this month. It would mean the world to me if you could just click that. If you appreciate the content, if it's ever helped you, check, see, sub, and let's go on. So, of course, we got Hoodie Jones, leaked ban list. Hoodie Jones, not actually leaked. There's rumors around, and I don't want to be caught up in that. So, this is fake. But Gum Gum Giant and Monkey D. Luffy. Ha ha ha. JK, please don't ban me, Bandai. All right, so let's go ahead. So, shout out madcap_ginger on Twitter. Ian, you're the GOAT. They took a look at all the OP11 results that were on Eggman events. This is going to give us a great background to the conversation we're about to have. And so it gives a lot of context. This is top 8s, 186 top 8 players across 14 major events. So number 1 is Blue Purple Luffy at 17%, and then right below that is Red Yellow Belo Betty. And of course, everybody's like, Belo Betty isn't a problem. Well, Belo Betty kind of saw a little bit of success at the end of OP11. I know Yost was a player who I think he got X2 just playing Belo Betty prior to this format in OP10. And here we are, OP11. But Belo Betty has some incredibly powerful cards, of course, leading that charge being a Vonkov, and we'll talk about that. But neck and neck, and then Green Purple Luffy. And none of the other leaders come close. None of these other leaders come close. We see these 3 gatekeeping. These are the big 3 of this format. Blue Purple Luffy, or BP Luffy, or UP Luffy, or Updog, whatever you want to call it. Belo Betty, and Green Purple Luffy. So, of course, it's a Luffy format. What do you expect? Luffy leaders, right? It's a Luffy format. No big deal. But it stands to show a problem in terms of overall distribution. And, of course, we see 2 others here, Luffy, then Bonnie and Buggy. But these are all, pretty much half of what all of these are taking in terms of top tables. So these are, the big 3 in terms of problematic. We saw also the recurring theme of Blue Purple Luffy and Green Purple Luffy in Asia. Again, the ban list isn't an English TCG ban list. It's going to be based off of Asia. So you need to look at Asia for your point of reference, but this just kind of helps us get a frame of an idea so it kind of makes sense. Because they're in OP12 where they have Zoro and Rayleigh, but Blue Purple Luffy still continues to dominate that, and we see a lot less Belo Betty there. So yes, the big 3 is Blue Purple Luffy, Green Purple Luffy, and Belo Betty. For us, English TCG. However, in the macro, Blue Purple Luffy and Green Purple Luffy are kind of like the long-standing problem children overall. And then you can even, then there's Zoro, Rayleigh, still some Betty. But again, it's nowhere near the magnitude of what we've seen. So let's talk Blue Purple Luffy. Blue Purple Luffy, of course, some of the cards people talk are Charlotte, Linlin, and Sanji. We, of course, have OP13, and then, of course, in PRB as well, Sanji becomes a manga. Sanji also inherently has never done anything in any meta before this card. Like, he was good in Marco, but Marco was playing the game on hard mode, and he wasn't just, oh, I'll look at top 5, add a 2K, play this, heal 1. It's because this leader allows you to inherently look at your top 5 for free. Plus, go +1. If you could just look at the top 5 cards of your deck and go +1, of course, it is going to be good. So Sanji doesn't designate a problem. The big things that we need to look for when it comes to bans are problems that are like evergreen or answers one specific problem. So the way that they are going to want to do the bans are they are going to want to either ban a leader, because then you don't have to ban the cards, or ban the cards because the leader is the problem. So I think first off, they're going to ban Luffy. Luffy has an ability that's just too much value. He rewards you for games taking longer, but the challenge is, so does Emu. Emu rewards you for going late game. And the longer the games go on, the more that they can, the first turn that they get all their Gorosei and get to go 7999999 straight to your face. There's a lot of value. Or was it 7799911, something like that. Because they get to touch 5 Dons, so you can go 7 on lead. No, they're all 7, so then 7799911. Yeah. And you just take that all to the face the turn after they hit 10. Which is a lot more value than Blue Purple Luffy can offer, and then their bodies are also irremovable. So you gotta remember, we're going into OP13. So in my opinion, as it stands with the power creep set, we shouldn't have any bans. I think the argument is unbans at this point, just because all these leaders that they revealed are incredibly powerful in their own right. But out of all of these, I think it makes sense to hit this guy, just because his ability shouldn't have existed in the first place. You essentially, every turn, you after turn 4, you're drawing 2 every turn for the rest of the game, when your opponent will only ever draw 1. So you're going +1, and then any other bonus your cards give you, like Rush Luffy, that makes you go +1 again, anything like that. And to boot, you have Gum Gum Giant. Linlin is a recurring theme. Linlin shows up in multiple decks. That being, of course, Purple Luffy now here, plus in combination with the Katakuri engine and the Big Mom Pirates. It enables you to not lose these bodies. Before, especially like Purple Luffy, when they get low in hand, you could potentially clear these bodies. You can no longer ever clear these bodies thanks to cards like Charlotte Katakuri, who also allows you to ramp back up, which is just huge. That whole package together is incredibly strong. So I think if there is an argument, like being able to go up in life and remove it, so you remove 2 cards. This is the most purple card. I think that there's the argument. Do I think Linlin will be hit? No, I do not. I think, again, this card is the problem child. I think this is the answer. Then, of course, there's the 10 cards in hand, right? Gum Gum Giant. If somebody has 2 cards and they have Gum Gum Giant, they have potentially 6 cards, 8 cards, depending on how many Dawn they left up and how many Gum Gum Giants they can chain. Cards shouldn't, it's incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. And then, of course, Pudding as well. Both these follow under there as well. Pudding, I think, is actually way stronger because I've been playing. Pudding's my favorite play right now in Blue Red Ace. This is my favorite turn 4 play. Pretty much every single time. I'll swing 6, you take it, Pudding. Oh, you search cards, Pudding. It fits, then I can bounce it back with a Josu, anything like that. On 5, if I don't have another play, attach 1 dog, swing 7 play, Pudding. Feels pretty good overall as well, too. I don't think that Pudding can be banned, especially now with Nami. Pudding is going to be such a huge card there because they're going to have so much card value and so much card generation. They're going to be able to draw so many cards. They're going to be able to generate so many cards because Otama's going to draw them 2 and trash them 1, so they're going net even on the play. And they, of course, have cards like Overheat that can bounce them back. And Peel Off. So I think you need Pudding to kind of counteract them still. And again, Pudding has been around for a number of formats, but only really was a problem with Doflamingo. And this one, it's just more like gambling. You go to the casino to try to win. Now let's talk Green Purple Luffy and more about like Gum Gum Giant. So if we hit Gum Gum Giant, it does a lot of work for Green Purple Luffy. And when we go like Green Purple Luffy, big thing, and it's not as good, but it allows you to hit like Blue Purple while hitting Green Purple and hitting Purple. So resolving issues with potential problem decks once a deck is removed. Because the big thing, and what Bandai usually does a great job at, like what we saw with Raigo, is when they do bans, they typically target other cards that would also be problematic now with the new decks. Like when they went after Red Green Law in OPO4 in the English TCG. And then again, like, you know, when we see them hit Raigo, which fell out of nowhere, but with them limiting some of the other decks, Raigo and Enel were standing potentially near the top just because of his ability to just not lose, and then Raigo being able to remove anything. Of course, there's Sanji Pudding too. This is the deck. Whenever you play this deck, you search for this card. This is the card. Again here, kind of like Sanji, in any other deck, this card doesn't have a lot of value. It almost makes more sense to hit this than it does to hit this, just because then you solve the problem and you get to keep a whole bunch of cards in the game versus removing this and then potentially, like, you know, taking away from any other deck that might be able to use this. And so I don't think much needs to happen here. Deck's really good, but I think the biggest thing is like when you're going for lethal, because the deck can get pretty big hand and make a lot of just, again, value. You play Pudding, you draw a card, you play Zorojo, you replace it, you play Nami, you replace all those cards. All the cards you're playing out are replacing themselves. And then you have Gum Gum Giant to boot. And you have searchable. You can search this with the green Nami, whereas purple decks can't search Gum Gum Giant if they're just purple. Like the purple searcher, there is a new Nami that will be able to in PRB as well. So again, I think it makes more sense to go after the Giant over anything else, and I think that would be good enough for this Luffy. And now we move on to Belo Betty. You know, because the biggest thing is you hee-haw on them. And so Betty is an incredibly aggressive deck, possibly the answer to Emu, by the way. But you discard one Revolutionary Army card, give up to 3 of your Revolutionary Armies plus 3,000. So on your lethal turn, you essentially have a 19 Dawn play. And then if you have Karasu, you add plus 1,000 for your lethal for every swing that you have, effectively. So cards like Karasu enable the lethal. Ivankov allows you to go wide continuously if they do not have an answer. So if your opponent can't answer this or you see another one, you can continually trash one card for free and then play out a whole body from your hand, allowing you to go incredibly wide. Then of course you pitch and turn them all sideways. This allows you to bring out potentially multiple Karasu, making your opponent's leader 4k, 3k, and you just go 8k and they have to take it. And you just overwhelm your opponent with numbers incredibly fast. Very fast game style. End of the day, I think Karasu's fine. Again, we had revolutionary leaders, and Karasu never really made an impact. It doesn't really do much as it stands. Whereas Ivankov, in the context of Belo Betty, whereas Belo Betty isn't inherently they made it very well balanced overall in the grand scheme of things. I think it's this card that was the mistake, just because the continued support with the yellow side, of course, having free triggers, whereas the red triggers all had costs. On this one, enabling you to do a lot of shenanigans. Again, you essentially get the cheat for Dawn every turn, and you can start that on turn 4. So your 4 turn is an 8 Dawn turn, and then your 6 turn is a 10 Dawn turn. And so you already cheat Dawn in the manner of power. So you get plus 3,000, so you get 9 free Dawn swinging. And then you get 4 free Dawn every turn, leading for a potential of 13 free Dawn if you want to think about it in that way. And so I think Ivankov is the root of those problems there, because, again, Karasu is available in other decks, and within the context of those decks, he hasn't done anything there. But Ivankov in the deck of Belo Betty has been a Harik. has wreaked havoc among us all. Now let's talk about some of the others. Hody Jones. You know, Green's biggest thing is Green's never had a card banned, so we should ban Hody. And then the argument is as well, Hody's only good in the context of I leave 3 Dawn up for Gum Gum Giant chain. And it's like, oh, I can't chain Gum Gum Giants. I only get 1. Allows you to go for lethal. Big thing that I don't like is, of course, you know, the fact you can rest 2 blockers. So I think it would make sense if Hody Jones got hit, because there, of course, is the event that replaces it, the OP12 event Dead Man's Game. Was it 9 Sword Style Demon Ashura something Dead Man's Game? Allows you to rest character, but it doesn't give you a body. On this card, in the with Eustace Captain Kidd, allows you to do a lot more. Because, oh, you wall up at 2, well, now I do this and I'm still gaining value. These 2 cards together is, you know, you get the wall and then you get free value. So, because you want to be a 0 life, and this allows you to get there, plus also, of course, protects them. So, there's a lot of people who want Eustace Captain Kidd banned. Again, as a red player, I think Eustace Captain Kidd is fine. I think there's also, like, you know, there's Tashigi. I think Tashigi's more on the block than Eustace Captain Kidd. Tashigi is essentially a card that allows you to just not lose Kidd. It's like, I can't red rock Kidd. That's what Tashigi says. And so if Tashigi was gone, there's a lot more answers to Kidd, and I think it's fine. I think Tashigi is the card that makes this card a pain. And then Bankure, of course, this being one of the key ramp cards, and then in late game being able to, it's a 4/12. This is the Burgess before Burgess, except you can't beat Burgess for a 2K. I don't think this card should be banned, but I think a lot of people have, like, mentioned it. I don't think this card should be banned. Again, if it's a staple, sure, but it really doesn't do anything crazy outside of, like, blue-purple. It's really good, like, when, you know, you spit out 2, your opponent's about to drop a 12 drop. It de-incentivizes the 12 drop, because they're, of course, just going to get hit by 2 12s for free, and you can go 12 to 15 and essentially threaten lethal. So there is that argument. But I think overall you just have to pivot when they spit out 2 of these, because, again, and to their degree, they don't establish. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think should be banned? Now let's talk unbans. So we got to talk about some of the new cards. Goldie Roger, 10 drop, 13,000. Negate the effects of your leader, so your leader is now a 7k for the rest of the game as long as he's on the board. And you negate the effects of your other characters that aren't Roger Pirates. So, for those who don't know as well, if you have a blocker, it's no longer a blocker. If it's not a Roger Pirate, it loses the blocker text. And then on play, you Dawn -3, so it technically turns off your ability and prevents you from chaining these depending on what happens next. So you can't chain them unless you play the stage and they remove it. But up to one of your leaders gains 2,000 power into your opponent's next phase, next end phase. Then give all your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power until your opponent's next end phase. So, in the grand scheme of things, this card is Emu's worst nightmare. They're 7s, well now they're 5s, and I'm a 9. So, you get 2 swings at me. That's pretty good. Pretty good. But also, again, it makes you, mathematically, it makes you an 11k leader. Except for against the leader swing, because you go up to 9,000 because of this ability. And then your opponents go down 2,000. So 9,000, another 2,000 difference, 11,000. Then, of course, we got to talk the 5 Elder Stars, the Gorosei card. The Gross Yasei card. Because it's gross. Activate main. If your leader is Emu, you may rest one of your Dawn, trash 1 card from your hand. Trash all of your characters, then play from your trash up to 5 Elder Stars type characters with the power of 5,000 that all have different names. They all have 5,000 power, so you can summon all of them. And then, of course, you can have, like, rushers. You can swing, hit hard, spam again. But, of course, you have to wait a turn, right? You have to wait a turn. It costs 10. I have to establish this. I have to swing with it. Then I have to pay the Dawn. Wrong-o. There's a stage that you can play for free that allows you to play this out for 3. Play the stage for free. Play this out for 3. Play this stage for free. play this out for 3. It's a rhyme. Just remember, play this stage for free. Play this card for 3. And then you get to pay 1, do that, and you still have 6 on to work with. So you get the rusher, you get a searcher, you get a blocker that draws you a card, and you get your leader swing. And you can even play another rusher if you want. You could play out the rusher, you could swing, and then you could swing with your leader. Then you could play out and put the rusher in the trash, and then play it back out and rush again for 7. Whatever you want to do. Or you can play the rusher, then play a rusher on top and swing for 7. Whatever floats your boat. Leader's insane. This card's insane. How is Beko Boria a problem? That's a 10-drop. That's a 3-drop. That plays 5 cards. This card plays 2 cards. And they're 4 and a 2. This card plays 2 cards. 4 and a 2. I think we can unban Gecko. Then, like, Emo's going to play Gecko. But I think, we should have a Gecko. If they have the Gorosei, I think we should have a Gecko. Now, of course, there's also every ban list, there's talk of Sakazuki. There's also a Lekka Fig that is shaped like Sakazuki that's heavily suspected to be, unbanned. Everybody speculates it every single time. And it's possible because can't beat Nami. Has Houndblaze, but I still don't think it can beat Nami. Then we, of course, have Moby as well. This card's about to get rotated out. I think we could unban it. I think it's the only way we beat Nami. I think this card helps us beat Nami. I'm for it. Great Eruption also about to rotate out. Both these cards on the rotation block. I don't think we see Great Eruption return. I think it's just too strong. All the Gorosei cards say original, and the new Celestial Dragons have been saying original power for their KOs, or original cost, rather. Forgive me. And so, Great Eruption, I just don't think we'll ever see this card. I would like to. If we do, it's going to be reprinted. I own a lot of copies of this. But at this point, with the rotation on the horizon, even with the Gorosei cards, because they're unremovable, I don't think we'll see this return. But Sakazuki, I think there's an argument for Sakazuki. Emu has a similar ability. Allows you to cycle 1. And has a unremovable bodies. So, I think Sakazuki could be unbanned, genuinely. And then you also have to think about Kabaji. I think Kabaji is going to be unbanned. If you're familiar with this card is a new card that was just announced today, and Nami probably just became the best deck of the format, because this card says on play, if you have 3 or less life, draw 2 cards, trash 1 card from your hand. It's a 1 cost. This is a 2. This is a 2 cost, and it was banned. So 1 cost, it's unbanned. So there is the argument to ban Nami. If they don't hit anything, you might as well unban Kabaji. I think there's the argument to unban Kabaji, just because Nami is so strong now. You get to play this, and you can bounce them both back. You can play this, you can play Kaya, you can play 2 of these. Best case, you're playing 2 of these, you're paying a card to bounce it back. You lost 1 card, and you drew 8. If you played 2 of these, bounced them back. There's a new Punk card for Whitebeard Pirates, I think. It's the blue one, but you bounce back a character you control, then you get to bounce a 6 or less. And so you can bounce this to bounce your other one, and then you just draw 8 while losing 1 card. Yep. It's the world we live in now. So, I think they should ban Nami. I know we waited here till the end. I think you have to. I know Nami's rotating out, but that means Asia's going to have to deal with the Nami meta for potentially 8 months, 2/3 of a year before we get there. Us, it'll be a lot less. So we'll see what direction they take, knowing that this card is banned. And this card is cheaper and not banned. So I think there's an argument to ban Kabaji. Or to unban Kabaji. Overall thoughts, I think to some degree we have to answer Nami, but at the same time, all these other leaders are power crept so hard. I don't think any card really makes sense at this point. Just based off what we've been seeing. I think Emu is going to clean Blue-Purple's clock. And it's okay, why would we do this when they, it's just going to create need to either answer Emu and potentially others as well. Not to single Emu out. Like Roger. I think Roger's not as strong overall. I've played a couple games against Roger now. I think Roger's really good in the Emu, though. But I think red blue ace clears Roger. I think we just go super fast and then Roger has no board and they play a 10 drop and then we just hit their face some more and establish threats at the same time. And they can't chain them, so then there's 7k. And if you red rocket and they don't play stage, they're just back to a 5k. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. And as always, if you found this content of value, if you could do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Helps me out a lot. And thank you all so much for watching.